Hi Raj. I'm sure maths is a good friend of all of ours. We all love our maths. We'll look at a few more mental strategies now. First of all, let's do a bit of quick revision, something we covered in a previous lesson. When we were talking about multiplying two numbers together, say 2 times 8, we got an answer. Let's say the answer is 16 in this case. We call 16 the product. If you remember, it's the product. And when we divide one number by another, let's say we've got 8 divided by 2, we get an answer of 4. We called 4 the quotient. Now the number 2 we call the divisor. That's what it's called in maths. The number we're dividing by is called the divisor, and the number we're dividing is actually called the dividend. So there's a couple more terms for us to understand and learn, and we're going to use those when we talk about our next strategy, which we call working in stages. And when we work in stages in maths, if we're multiplying two numbers together, we can break one of the numbers down into smaller component parts, or if we're dividing one number by another, we break the divisor down into smaller parts, and it helps us to do our calculations more easily. Let's have a look at a multiplication first of all. A good example is 25 times 8. Now 8 is a number that we're multiplying by, so we're going to break it down into smaller component parts. So we say 25 times, we know that 8 is 4 times 2. So we've broken it down a bit, but we can break it down even further. We know that 4 is 2 times 2. Don't forget our other 2. So now we've got 25 times 2 times 2 times 2 instead of 25 times 8. We can, using some rules we learned previously, now start multiplying numbers together in stages. So let's go 25 times 2. That's 50. We've still got to multiply by 2 by 2. Now we go 50 times 2. That's 100. Still got to multiply by one more 2. And now 100 times 2 is 200. So we started with 25 times 8. We broke 8 down into smaller component parts, and we ended up with our answer. So that works quite nicely for us. We can do the same for division, and this is where it can be quite handy as well. Let's look at an example of 600 divided by 15. Now remember, 600 is the dividend, the number we're dividing, and 15 is the divisor, and it's the divisor we're going to break into smaller parts. So let's say it's 600 divided by, well, what's 15? We know 15 is actually 3 times 5, so we could divide first by 3 and then divide by 5 after that. So we've broken 15 down into smaller parts. So 600 divided by 3 is much easier for us than 600 divided by 15. We know that that's 200. We still need to divide by 5. Dividing 200 by 5 is actually quite easy for us as well, and we know that's 40. So by breaking the divisor down into smaller parts, we make our calculations much easier. We get our answer of 40. Should try that with a few other multiplications and divisions. You might find it very useful for you. Now another strategy that we can use in maths when we're multiplying numbers together is to use what we call an array. In an array we set up a rectangular box that we break into smaller rectangles inside. You might like to use this. Some of you might have seen it already in primary school. If you don't want to use it, that's okay, but some of you will find it handy. Let's look at an example. 36 times 24. Now the number 36 we know is 30 plus 6, and the number 24 we know is 20 plus 4. So let's draw ourselves a rectangle, like I said before, and then we break it into smaller rectangles. Now we've done it like this because I'm going to put 36 down this side and 24 across this side. So 36 was 30 and 6. 24 was 20 and 4. Now what we're going to do is to do the smaller multiplications within the rectangle and then add our products together. So 30 times 20, well 3 times 2 is 6 and there's 2 zeros to add. 30 times 4 is what we're going to put in this box. So 3 4s are 12 plus there's a 0 to add. 6 times 20 we'll put in this box. So 6 2s are 12 and then there's a 0 to add. And 6 times 4 is 24. No zeros to add. So let's add across this way and across this way. So 600, this one, plus 120 is 720. We've added those together. We're going to do the same here. We're going to add these together. 120 plus 24 is 144. So now all we need to do is to add this number to this number. 4 and 0 is 4, 4 and 2 is 6, 1 and 7 is 8. Our answer is 864. So 36 times 24 broken down into smaller parts, like we did up here, use an array, we come up with 864. You might like to try those with a few other calculations with bigger numbers. Have a good day, everyone.